Drink, drank.
So the kids get lost and no one's gonna stay up. Yeah, truck trees and beasties with dingo mohawk hair. Right, misfits and homeless kids all called a home there. Don't tell me it ain't real. Don't you fucking dare. Sit, punch, pile in the car, nothing going on. Turn off the radio cause it's my favorite song. There's a club on the coast where all the kids get along. Skids and punks and wayward ones, nothing can go wrong. Saturday, outside the calico. There's no way I'm gonna end up at that disco. Make my way through fist fights and stilettos. To rock and roll, rock and roll. Saturday, or outside your calico. There's no way I'm gonna end up at that disco. Make my way through fist fights and stilettos. To rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. To rock and roll, rock and roll. You know what? When I show up, there's gonna be some fucking action. Show me the signs, lost the wild, that's the fucking attraction. She said, when I fuck 'em up, that's a satisfaction. Bottle of red, straight ahead, detail transaction. Hey, I'll say so, spam my neighborhood, it was always understood. I was running out for the angels, I was a little fucking hood. When rock was my way out, it was always in my blood. I don't give a fuck, I was locked up, should be dead or in jail. Saturday, I'll say you can't come. There's no way I'm gonna end up at the disco. Make my way through fist fights and stilettos. So rock and roll, rock and roll. Saturday, I'll say you can't come. There's no way I'm gonna end up at the disco. Make my way through fist fights and stilettos. To rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. To rock and roll, rock and roll. Family turns their back on their son. Now we're all alone. Now we ain't got a home. Now we're among our own. Saturday, I'll say you gotta come. There's no way I'm gonna end up at the disco. Make my way through fist fights and stilettos. To rock and roll, rock and roll. Saturday, I'll say you gotta come. There's no way I'm gonna end up at the disco. Make my way through fist fights and stilettos. To rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. To rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. To rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. To rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. To rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. To rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. To rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. To rock and roll, rock and roll,
Well, just because she feeds me well and she made me talk dirty in a pink hotel, it doesn't mean she's got eyes for me. She might